Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So, as a critic of President Biden, I just want to say that I thought his ad-lib statement in Poland, quote, "We will have a different future, a brighter future rooted in democracy and principle, hope and light. For God's sakes, this man cannot remain in power," end quote. All right, I thought it was a good statement, ad-lib or not. The whole world's ganging up on him. Frankly, I think it's the best single sentence of his presidency. Now, in today's budget presser, more on the budget in a few moments, but in today's presser, the president said it wasn't a policy change, but he was expressing his moral outrage, a personal feeling. Well, I'm okay with that, too. It's just a little bit Reagan-esque. It's okay. At least for one brief, fleeting moment, Biden punched Putin out. And then the whole world came crashing down on Biden's head. Really? Aren't we tired of being intimidated by Vladimir Putin, who is a war criminal and a crook? I'd love to see Biden call him a war criminal and a crook in the same sentence. In fact, I'd love to see Biden seize Putin's $700 million yacht, which, of course, he got by giving up smoking for a couple of months and putting it into a little tin box, if you remember my Friday riff. Except that the reality is Putin's been stealing money from Russian working folks for 3 decades to the tune of a couple of $100 billion worth. And Joe Biden should be calling him out on that and pushing a narrative about Putin the crook. But I am glad, at least for one moment, Biden hit him. And I'll bet if you took a poll, the vast majority of Americans, like 80 or 90% plus, would favor regime change in Russia. Just saying. And in fact, when Senator Lindsey Graham called for Putin's assassination, I'll bet you a strong, silent majority of Americans totally agreed. But the trouble with President Biden's whole European journey is that his press conference in Brussels was terrible. He did not hit Putin. He did not call for secondary banking sanctions. He did not sanction Russian energy. He did not support the Soviet MiGs in Poland being transferred to Ukraine or the S-300s from Slovakia to Ukraine. He did not conclusively reverse his war on American fossil fuels. And he made a bunch of bizarre statements that deterrence was never meant to work, that we would respond in kind to any Russian biochemical WMDs, that our troops were going into Ukraine. These statements are all bewildering and incoherent. That whole presser reeked of weakness rather than strength. And what's more, President Biden has really never stated a goal of Ukrainian victory in their country. And many people believe with the right military equipment, the Ukrainians can win. And there are a lot of spreading rumors that the U.S. is pushing Zelensky to make a peace deal with Putin, maybe splitting the country in half. So in all these areas, Mr. Biden really is speaking with a forked tongue. Sorry to say. Now, a second point this evening, the Biden budget. We have few details. We don't have all of them in yet, but I just want to say what fun it was to listen to the president this afternoon tell us that he's really a capitalist, but he does want successful, wealthy individuals to pay their fair share of taxes, because we all know how mean, nasty, and greedy these successful people are. And, of course, the president loves to talk about jobs. Jobs, by the way, he inherited from President Trump's V-shaped recovery. But Mr. Biden, who loves employment, just doesn't like employers. He's never figured out that you can't have plentiful, good-paying jobs unless you have successful, profitable companies. But he's a capitalist, remember? Plus, there he goes again with his confiscatory wealth tax on unrealized capital gains, which even the European socialists tried, failed, and ultimately vetoed. Plus, even as the emergency pandemic spending runs down, his budget still shows a spending to GDP ratio of 23 to 24%, which is historically high, aka big government socialism. Debt held by the public as a share of GDP stays around 103 to 105%, more big government socialism. And the Green New Deal is well funded with a 30% hike for the EPA, a 15% jump for the Energy Department. Lots of references to social justice and environmental justice, but then again, way less funding than inflation for DHS illegal immigration security, and a military increase that barely keeps up with inflation. We will have more on this as we process the incoming info. But let me just add, save America. Kill the bill.